Welcome. Hey, we at the Afterthoughts with the Spacious Place with Aundrea Besst. I'm her husband. I am making an appearance. Let me take off these.
Y'all see how he just tried to
didn't
sound
have
like
these
me?
on. Welcome. I love it. But yeah, we just wanted to mainly. Well, I don't often get on here, but wanted to continue to talk.
Yeah.
Just continue to talk because we love talk. I think one of our best dates has been grabbing some coffee.
I know.
And just like chilling, just talking,
Just sitting and talking.
just sitting and talking. Whether we talk about life, talk about business plans, we talk about us. I compliment how beautiful you are. But yeah,
Thanks.
I think those have been. Well, that has been definitely one of my favorite dates.
Yeah.
I don't know if you took me on it or I took you on it.
I think it was your idea.
It was.
Yeah.
I think you put some pressure on me to get creative, and I got creative with a coffee date.
I know, and it was so cute.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I dressed up, but like didn't dress up. I was like, casual, cute.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell me where we're going either.
I did just pull up to the coffee shop. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. So at the end of the episode, I know we were talking about. Well, I had mentioned that God had revealed that he was showing us how he viewed us, how he saw us, and not just to ourselves, but also to one another.
Right.
I remember a time where we were praying and prayer like led into intimacy, sexual intimacy, and afterwards, I think we had a conversation. And it was just like what just happened?
Right.
like
didn't we start off praying?
Right. I was praying in Jesus' name, and the next thing, it's like a different. They say praying with Sister Sheets and Brother Pillow. It's a whole different meaning, right? And but that was that's just I think the power of the Lord and how good He is. And it was just how good He is. Now I know you said that do you often have healthy sexual conversations with your married women friends?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It's usually not in with a lot of friends. There are only probably less than a handful of friends that I have those conversations with. But we do have those conversations just because I think it's so important for women
for church women.
I think it's important for women of God to understand ourselves in our how to be sexy and how being sexy doesn't have to be boring. And there are lots of ways that you can be sexy with your husband, and it doesn't have to be like bland and dry. And I think that's one of the most important things. I am in a wives group, and there are times when we talk about sex, but we are just sharing ideas, not necessarily like specific
how-to
encounters, but just ideas. Like there was a time when I had bought a specific spray, and if I wore that spray,
it was going down.
You knew. And that was kind of a little fun thing that we had. And I think that just stuff like that, where you can have those conversations, like if someone's struggling, and I think that's when it's most important, when you know that one of your friends may be struggling in a certain part of intimacy with her husband, you can share different things that have worked. That's why I think it's so important that we share this testimony for us, because there may be one of our friends, someone who can listen to the podcast who's having this exact problem, because I guarantee you we are not the only ones who've experienced this.
Folks gonna have some reflection.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, wait, if I ain't teach you this, who taught? You know what?
Right.
We need to break up this wooden foundation and pour some concrete.
Exactly.
With God interwoven all up in it.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I think it's important to have those conversations. especially with women that you trust and
Yeah,
who you've built relationship with. But yeah, we definitely have healthy conversations about sex.
that's good. That's good. Because I mean, y'all women, especially like not just so. I got to make sure that I'm clear that we're talking about married women.
Yeah.
Married women have often been forgot about within sex.
Mm-hmm.
And still to this day, sex is supposed to be a man thing. Sex is supposed to be led by the man. Sex is supposed to be dominated by the man. The man is supposed to be pleased, and that's how the world portrays it.
Yeah.
And that's far from it.
Right.
It's a husband and wife act. Like, yeah, it's a husband and wife act. And then you mentioned that y'all have those conversations. A close group of people that you have built a relationship with. Don't be out here sharing your business with Jane Doe, who you just met. Like, you may see a screenshot on social media of that, and you don't want that. But yeah, I think us as men, we can definitely do a better job at doing and being supportive for one another. I think a lot of men we may struggle in silence. I think things like this, if a man is struggling in silence and his wife turns him on to it, or he just comes across this, it'll bless him for sure. Yeah. It'll bless him. Yeah.
Why do you think that men have such a hard time? Like, if you've ever struggled in the sex department in our marriage, like, have you gone to a friend?
No, because it's like a trifecta where you have shame, you have worry, and you have unmet expectations where I should be able to do this. So I'm going to try to figure it out. And what's bad is that it's pretty much I'm going to dig deeper into the poor hole that I'm already in.
Right.
I'm not only going to go back to I'm not going to, default to my core.
Right.
I'm not going to default to my core. I'm going to dig deeper in that core of sin, of nonsense. Let me go look and let me just go learn some new tricks on pornography.
Right.
Like, what? No. And I think that's why we struggle in silence. Because we don't. It's not the fact that men won't communicate and won't help you, but we just hold each other to this higher standard. We hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Yeah.
And we idolize ourselves. That's when I said we hold ourselves to a higher standard. No, bring yourself, humble yourself.
Right.
Humble thyself.
Yeah, like you need help.
Yeah. Invite the Lord in. Yeah, invite the Lord in. Open up that good book, and you'll learn something.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we mentioned too was the different teachers that we've had, and I think, like you just said, porn is just one of those things for women that is not seen as a woman's problem. And I think that's a big problem too, because that's one of the things that women bring into our marriage that could be very dangerous to your sex life. And for me, that was one of the things that I feel like really led me to just this new journey, especially when we talk about our new love language. It was just me saying what I've heard. It was me saying what I thought sex was supposed to sound like. You know what I mean? And as a woman, there's so much like embarrassment and shame and all of these things, like you were saying, that comes with women watching porn. Like, women don't watch porn. Like, you ain't supposed to. That's something that men do, and that is accepted for men to do. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
And so when I felt this, now I understand where this language has come from. Now that I understand why I talk to my husband like this in the bedroom, when I'm starting to feel like this isn't really me, there's this like wanting to hide away from it because I feel like I can't tell anybody that I used to watch porn. Like that's just not something that would be good.
Right,
So
right.
now I have to wrestle with this. And so I'm so glad that God opened my eyes to seeing that that was not me teaching you that. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
And just not to be ashamed to know that there are so many women who also deal with this struggle of not really coming into their marriage being who God has created them to be in their bedroom too, because women and porn is just not something that's talked about, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I really think you said women coming into a marriage, not how God has created them to be. Or I may have jumbled up the words, but it's I think it's cool that you say that because I think that men and women, when they come into a marriage, God hasn't even created them to be sexually intimate yet.
Right.
Like he hasn't even, he may have, now there's a godly foundation to be laid, but as far as you learning tasks and doing things, God, like I haven't breathed over you
Right.
just yet.
Right.
Like now you married, boy, he up there like y'all about to have some fun. You know, now
Right.
he all in.
Right.
But I think, you know, the premarital things, God is kind of of course he's still present, he's still there. He's still like, hey, come on to me, come on back to me. But yeah, he ain't blessing none of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not gonna fulfill you.
Right.
In the way that sex with your spouse will.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So to lighten up the conversation a little bit, you talk about date nights. Now we in like phase what phase are we in?
Phase
203. I don't know if we're going up in phases or down. I don't really remember. But here in the Chicagoland area, they've kind of like put more restrictions on everything.
Yeah.
I am feeling the lack of date nights that we're having. And you know, last season of the Spacious Place, I talked about just getting creative with date nights. And like, I just feel like at a certain point, our creativity has run dry. Like, I feel like we've done it.
Yeah. I mean, more board games.
Right.
Or...
game nights, movie nights, comedy show nights, spot nights. Like,
yeah. So, and this is the difficult part because I'm not feeling the effects of it.
That's where the issue comes.
Yeah, therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know we just talking, but now we talking because this is
about this real life.
Right, real life. Now you done. This is a heart drop. You shared something with me, and now I have to catch that heart drop. Be aware of it. Now, be held accountable to it and do something about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens in our marriage when there's something that I desire or that you desire that the other person is just like, I'm straight, I'm cool?
So this is a perfect opportunity where I want to be able to reach out to my very close-knit circles of friends.
Gotcha.
Married men, and be like, hey, what y'all been doing? So, and then I'm going to come back and you're going to be surprised. I'm like, oh, baby, this is great. I'm going to be like, yeah, I know. Okay. I'm a genius.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's something our daughter says all the time. She constantly says that she's a genius. So you may hear us say that.
Yeah, I affirm her. You are. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, that is so. Since we're just talking, not necessarily about the podcast episode, but what do you think has been the biggest transformation from year 1 to year 6 for us?
Year 1, year 6. I think we have filled the gap of ourselves. So, like, I don't think we came into our marriage like, oh, you're 100, I'm 100. We're real life goals type stuff. I think we both came in broken, and
Yeah.
in wheelchairs, on crutches, not physically, but spiritually, and a lot of things. But I think we've rehabbed. We've gone to the hospital being church. We've built stronger connections with the Lord, and He has taken care of us individually, which has allowed us to stand stronger to one another. I think that's the biggest thing. And then you can piggyback off that with in any area, like
yeah. I think it would have to be just us being transparent and vulnerable to each other. In year one, I think we did a lot of, I guess, saving face to just so things would be okay in the marriage.
Like faking it till you make it type stuff.
Yeah, kind of. And not that we didn't truly love each other, not that we weren't being real, but I just don't think that we knew that it was safe to be vulnerable. Like we didn't know that it was safe to be like full of flaws in our marriage.
Right. Like she gonna leave me. She found out I'm this or other way.
Yeah. Like I had a lot of insecurities in the beginning of our marriage, just from small things like cooking to larger things like not knowing if I was going to be a wife who could be a wife to you, and I think that every time those insecurities, anytime a light was shined on those insecurities, I instantly got upset. I went into defense mode, like, no, I am, it was always a deflection. It was always a defense mechanism that was put up. I think now when my insecurities are, when there's a light shining on them, I think I feel more comfortable. I feel safe with you to say, like, this is something that I struggle with. And I don't feel like you're going to judge me. I don't feel like you're going to be like, well, you should know better. I feel like you are really going to be open to helping me through it. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I feel like we transformed.
I had to get it to you. You brought it home. You brought it home. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
So I have successfully created a safe place.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
That's good to know.
Yeah. In conversation with you, I don't feel like I have to be perfect. I don't feel like I have to be a certain type of woman. I can truly be me, and I understand that I am flawed. And so I'm not trying to be perfect, but what I am trying to do is just fulfill the role that God has placed me in as your wife. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be this wife that is, conjured up and made up. No, I'm Ray's wife. And so God has given me everything I need to be your wife. And then when I don't have those things, he challenges me to grow in those areas. Yeah.
I think you just saying you're my wife, and he challenges you to grow in those areas. It reminds me of like in my phone, like what you're saved under. You're so in my phone. It's not her name. It's not some say freaky dicky type thing. It's so it's the God sent wife. And I think I forgot when I put it in there, but I put it in there to remind me every time that I communicate with you on the phone or I look at a message to not become too familiar with you, to not take you for granted. And that's so that's good. The God sent wife, because I didn't find you.
Right.
Like it wasn't me. God, I didn't do it, but God sent you to me, and because I can't give myself enough credit.
Yeah, I always say that we were just not smart enough to pick each other.
Right.
God literally had to make a way for
Yeah.
us because we were in sabotage mode
Yeah.
before we got married. You know, it was just that we weren't seeing the things in each other that God literally saw in us.
He was dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was dumb.
Young,
aka dumb. That's those synonymous. I guess not all the time. Not in our case.
In our case, yeah.
That was synonymous. It was like God was like, "Oh yeah, y'all good," and then God came back and he was like, "Oh, what y'all doing? I told you, y'all good." But
no, we weren't. Trying to do it God's way.
Yeah.
But that's good that what you said about not becoming too familiar. That is such a big thing in marriage, period, that we get so comfortable with our spouses doing a certain thing or, saying a certain thing, looking a certain way, and we just get relaxed and we get laid back, and it just becomes like we don't see that this is truly a gift from God and I should treat it like that,
Yeah, for real. Yep. And that's it's Christmas season, so Christmas will be here before we know it. It reminds me of like last Christmas. I can't think of a gift that I got, but I know how excited I was when I first opened it. But within marriage, it's important that you keep that same excitement, that same joy with your spouse. And you have your spouse here, so that's the stone of remembrance. You have it here. You just have to remain focused and be grateful.
Yeah. Always grateful. Like I always thank God for my husband that he chose Ray for me. It's like it's literally like a puzzle. Everything that even the things that annoy me, even the things that I feel like, oh Lord, that Ray does, it's like it challenges me in an area that I need to be challenged in. Need to be challenged in.
Yeah, definitely. We are very complimentary towards one another.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for that.
Indeed.
Yeah, there has been just a lot of times where I look back and I just see transformation in different areas. Like we've already talked about our sex life. We touched a little bit on the way that we communicate. But even our finances, I feel like
for sure,
that's transformed since year 1 to year 6.
I've relinquished a lot of financial control, I guess I should say, because even it was a point where I don't think I've told you this, so we tied, and it was a point where I was getting conflicted with tithing. So I was like, you know what? I mean, I don't have to tithe, and I'm like, my wife, she don't really look at the finance like that, so I ain't gotta, I could get away with it. So instead of that, I just asked her, I was like, baby, can you tithe? Can you do the tithing for us?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're accountable to one another, you know, and so that was one thing.
Yeah.
And then I know we haven't, we haven't publicly talked about it, but we pride ourselves on being transparent and through. So what you see is what you get. I'm talking about finances. I think the big breaking point was it 2 years, a year and a half ago?
2 years
Maybe
ago.
2 years. 2 years ago,
Yeah.
I had credit card debt, but my credit score was good. But I was just robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it had came to a point where I was like, this is going to infringe upon my family's lifestyle and how we live and all that type of stuff. So I told my wife, I was like, I think I'm going to have to file bankruptcy. And it was a journey for me to earn her trust back with it.
Yeah. I think for me, it was really one of the first times that I felt like within our marriage, I don't want to use the word betrayed because that's a very strong word, but that I had lost a little trust in my husband because I felt like he was kind of hiding some things from me. And it wasn't major things, but for us, because we were always so open with each other, I did feel like it was like, wait, what? Like, where's this coming from? You know?
Yeah.
So that was one of the first times where I really felt like we had to work through and figure out a way that we were going to be open with each other again with finances, because nothing like that had ever happened before, and so this was just new to us.
Yeah, definitely. It was even to the point where we set up, and we still kind of check in, you know, every now and then, but we literally had, was it bi-weekly or?
Bi-weekly.
It was bi-weekly balances of our accounts and, you know, checking everything out. But that's where the growth is, because now we're at the point where, you know, rebuilding credit, successful trading, and we're having overflow. You know, we're seeing savings get stacked, and, and it's just, you know, debt dwindling completely. Is awesome. So
yeah,
huge growth in that area.
Yeah, definitely. Parenting is another one that we obviously haven't quite got figured out yet.
I don't think anybody just mastered it.
I know.
You just go along for the ride.
Right, because you're always in a different level of parenting the older your kids get.
Yeah.
We will never be parents to a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, Imani and Chase. Like, never again. Nope. So it's a constant learning experience. Now, would you say you're more of the disciplinarian?
No. So I'm like on the opposite end of the spectrum. I will give them what they ask for, but I'm going to require something of them. So say like my son, he'll ask me, can he watch Power Rangers? 9 times out of 10, I want to tell him yes. They haven't learned that I'm going to tell them yes. So sometimes they ask their mom, and she says no. I'm like, all right, but I expect them to listen. I expect them to clean up. I expect them to not tell us no. I have these certain expectations of them, and if they don't do that, then they don't get this. Yeah. So,
and I think I'm a little more lenient in that, where like if they don't clean up, I may let it slide, you know. But they know with me, you know, you probably won't get a dessert. You probably won't get a lot of sweets. Probably won't get a lot of TV. But so I think they kind of have to learn.
Yeah,
learn that.
I'm surprised our daughter. I'm surprised she hasn't learned it. She's a smart one. She's a smart one. She's the oldest. But yeah, she hasn't. She sometimes asks us, like, she'll ask you for something, and then she'll turn around and ask me. But she does it while we're in the same room. Like, baby girl, didn't I just tell you? And then, you know, but eventually she'll figure out the game. Yeah. You know, wait till one of us goes to another room or something.
I know. What's the hardest part of parenting for you? Or what has been the hardest parenting moment? I'll ask that first.
Parenting moment.
And when I say moment, I don't necessarily mean like a day, but just a period of time.
Instance or period of time. Yeah. I would have to say two instances. One is when they're sick. And I mean, it's not difficult because I know they're going to get better, but I just don't like seeing them. I'd rather take that on myself. You know, I have the shoulders. I can do it, you know. The other one would be just them, me wanting them to learn or to do things a certain way. You have to break that, like, so no, actually, it's similar, but my son's eating. He's a picky eater, And I more so came up on the mantra that you're gonna eat what I put in front of you.
Right.
But I've since come around to, you know what? What would Jesus do? Like, he's gonna feed you what you're gonna eat. He's gonna give it to you in a way that you can understand it, that you can take it in, and that will be for your nourishment. And so that's what I'm trying to do now. I try to appease him. What he likes, I want to try to give it to him, but I may try to trick him. I may put some things in it. I may put some cauliflower in his mac and cheese, which didn't work, but it was worth a try. So, So yeah, that I think that is difficult for me to release my expectations or of them, and that's mine.
Yeah. For me, I would have to agree with you when they're sick. I don't think any parent likes to see their children sick. For me, it has exposed, this journey of dealing with what is phobia, a real phobia that I've had since I've been, since I was like 3 years old. It is seeing my kids sick and experiencing them being sick has forced me to face things that some of the things I didn't even know that were, buried deep down inside of me. So that has been tough because it has forced me to rely on God in a way that I never have, because it's like, God, I literally don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I am trying to deal with my own stuff that is completely giving me panic attacks, anxiety attacks, and but I have to be here for these children. I'm their mother and I need to care for them. That's been tough. The second thing that I would say is probably the most recent thing. Our son Chase, he has developed a stutter.
Yeah.
And
super tough.
We started speech therapy for him, but just going and everyone says it's normal. Kids have stutters. A lot of the times they will grow up and grow out of it.
75%.
Right.
I looked it up.
You get all these numbers. You get parents. They're encouraging the. Speech therapists are very encouraging. But it's just like, for me as a mom, I don't want to have to see my child struggle through his words. I don't want to have to see my child have the possibility of being bullied. That's tough for me to think about. And I have to daily, tell myself that Chase is God's son. Right. God will use any situation, and he will get the glory. And so I have to tell myself, even if Chase's stutter stays how it is now, he's still going to be a mighty man of God.
Indeed.
God will still use him in a mighty way. He will still fulfill the purpose that God has.
Oh, it's that. So it's swapped. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Let me go to.
Sorry, our camera died, so I'm gonna finish what I was saying, and then we can wrap up.
Yeah.
But just understanding that no matter what it is that our kids struggle with, that God always has them, and He's always going to care for them, and He's always going to be there for him. So it's been tough, but that's what I would say.
Yeah.
But this conversation has been so amazing. I'm so glad that we stuck around and we kept talking, because I can't wait to share these little tidbits of conversation with the Bessts.
Oh, yeah. Can I close out?
Sure.
Okay. This has been Aundrea Besst in the Oh, I forgot.
See?
Okay. This has been the Spacious.
I want to get this on video.
You'll get it? Okay. Yep. All right. This has been Nope. Okay, I got it. I got it. This has been The Spacious Place with Aundrea Besst. Until next time. Kinda.
Yeah.
No, I got it. Here it is.
Okay.
Until next time, this has been The Spacious Place with Aundrea Besst.
There we go. Bye, guys.